Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. Now, just a quick new bike roundup video for you today with the launch of two brand new gravel bikes. One is a wild full suspension bike handmade in Poland from carbon fiber. We'll talk about that in a minute, or you skip ahead with the chapter links down below. But first, Argon 18 had today launched a brand new gravel bike, the Dark Matter, and I saw this bike for the first time at the Sea Otter Classic show, where it wasn't on display, but the guys from the brand were there showing the bike to a few select media. So behind the media room, I filmed the bike and had a nose around this new offering in the gravel space. So let's talk about that first. Now, Argon 18, to be fair, aren't the best known in the gravel space. They are historically well known for time trial and triathlon bikes. They launched a Dark Matter in 2018, and this is a new version of the Dark Matter with some big key updates. As I saw at Sea Otter Classic, the trend at the moment for some bike brands anyway, is not the universal trend, it's for wider tyres. And in some places, mountain bike tyres on gravel bikes. Like the Allied Able, which takes up to a 57mm wide tyre, and the new Felt gravel bike, which Dylan Johnson, as you know, rides with mountain bike tyres. And you can get your thoughts on mountain bike tyres as a future for gravel bikes by watching the video linked above and down below. So the new Dark Matter joins the growing breed of gravel bikes designed to both accept regular 40, 45, 50mm gravel tyres and also mountain bike tyres. And it's filmed here with mountain bike tyres, a new version of the Continental Race King with the less catchy name. So a big change to the bike over the old one launched in 2018 is primarily a space of bigger tyres, up to 57. So you can easily fit a mountain bike tyre, as you can see on the bike in the film right now. It gives you plenty of options to fit a wide gravel tyre or a mountain bike tyre if you want. Whether mountain bike tyres on gravel bikes become the standard for all gravel racing and gravel riding remains to be seen, but I guess only time will tell, and both the pro and amateur consumer adoption of mountain bike tyres on gravel bikes will be the ultimate determination of how the trend goes over the next few years. To fit the big tyres, there is a modification to the geometry. So the wheelbase is longer and the chainstays are longer too. And they've also slackened the head angle by 1 degree, and they've stretched the reach by up to 15mm on certain sizes and increased the stack height by 10mm. Trying to make it both suitable for racing but also more adventure bikepacking riding. There's also in-frame storage, which is a feature I like on these bikes to keep all your tools and spare parts inside a frame and away from the mud and dirt. There's full internal routing with their own 3D modular headset adjustment system they've been using for many, many years. And you can fit extra bags and bottles and fenders, so very versatile bike as well as being a racy gravel bike too. So the bike should be available now and is priced from $3,600 up to $6,600. And if you're going to track it in Girona this weekend, the bike will be on display and being raced by their athletes, including Chris Hall. So definitely one to check out, and hopefully I get a chance to ride the bike in the near future because it definitely looks really interesting. Right, next up, gravel bikes, as you probably know if you follow the channel, have been changing a lot in the last few years. But are manufacturers at risk of pushing them too far and away from the simplicity they offered in the early days? We're seeing wider and wider tyres, aerodynamics, suspension, and much more. But is it all too much? What do you think? What do you want to see on your future gravel bike? Drop a comment down below. Which brings me neatly to a new full suspension gravel bike from Poland. Now, full suspension gravel bikes have been done before, but never really caught on. And we have seen sort of soft full suspension offerings from BMC. There's a Topstone and a Kingpin as well. So the idea of front and rear suspension isn't a new thing. And I doubt we've seen the last of these bikes either. But whether this is a future for gravel bikes remains to be seen. I personally like the idea of suspension on a gravel bike. Even just a small amount makes a big difference when riding off-road on tough terrain. But I know for many people, it's a step too close to a mountain bike. So this is a brand new Antidote Pathseeker. Antidote is a Polish-based company. They mainly make mountain bikes, and this is their first drop bar gravel bike. And we have seen quite a few mountain bike companies launch gravel bikes in the last few years, haven't we? There's a Mondraker, there's a YT, there's a Propane, the evil, and probably a few others I've forgotten. I'm sure there'll be more in the future as well. So there's loads of interesting things on this bike. The first one is a full suspension, and that rear suspension is really interesting. It looks very complex, and I can't wait to get a closer look at how it works, but they try to keep it simple as well, which you need on a gravel bike where you want low maintenance. So in the sort of rear end of the frame, they have a eccentric device which allows the rear stays to flex. There's no pivots on the chain stays, it's just flexi carbon like we've seen on other bikes. And this eccentric device allows the seat stay to move forward and rotate in that eccentric device with an elastomer controlling the range of movement. And it offers a claimed 20 millimeters of travel. So there's no air, there's no oil, there's no hydraulic damper or anything. It's very simple. And there's no indication of whether you can adjust it for different rider weights, where you can put a heavier or lighter elastomer in there to make it softer or lighter for different rider weights. I've not seen anything like this before, and the only thing I can think of is the old GTI drive, which had a mad eccentric bottom bracket pivot design, but this is not like that at all. The company claims that pedaling doesn't affect the suspension, so it doesn't bob when you're riding, but the truth is in the testing. And there's also good lateral stiffness, it claims as well. It's all their claims, not mine. So I can't wait to ride it, hopefully get a chance to ride it and see how it actually performs, because I'm intrigued. I'm open-minded. It may be a gimmick, but it may be a game changer. Who knows until we ride it. And then up front, to match the rear suspension, we had the high-rise system, and it's very much like the Cannondale head shock from years gone by and used by BMC on their ERS. So it delivers 20 millimeters of travel with the spring between the fork and in the head tube area, with a dial on the top to lock it out and open it up. So 20 mil travel front and rear. So really interesting suspension system on a bike, but that's not all. The frame itself is really interesting too, because the carbon frame is handmade in Poland, not outsourced to Far East, and made with a mix of carbon fibers. They use a mix of regular carbon fiber, flax and basalt fiber, and a bio-based resin. And the flax element reminds me of Johan Museeuw, who launched a bike brand under his name with flax carbon fibers in it 10, 15 years ago, and their bikes offered a really smooth ride quality, sadly no longer around anymore. And they claim that the combination of fibers in the frame gives an improved level of compliance over a regular carbon frame. So that flax in the frame and the suspension should potentially, in theory, deliver quite a smooth ride. They then use Vectron in key areas to ensure the frame is robust and durable as well. And claim weight for the frame set is pretty good at 1,590 grams of frame, fork and suspension components on it. So radical frame and radical suspension, but radical the geometry is not, and fairly conservative and similar to other sort of middle of the road gravel bikes like the aforementioned Topstone from Cannondale. So it's definitely not taking a leaf out of the mountain bike book as the BMC ERS and other bikes are doing, with very slack head angles, long wheelbases and a long reach and short stem. So fairly conservative, which is quite interesting and probably not the geometry I would have expected given how radical the rest of the bike is. Other key details include space for 50mm wide tyres, a T47 bottom bracket and a UDH dropout. And bikes are apparently available now and priced from €3,800 for a frame set, and prices start for complete bikes from €6,300. So two really interesting new gravel bikes, but interesting in different ways. One going for massive tyre clearance and one going for full suspension. But what's the right approach? Well, it's clear nobody knows, and manufacturers are taking their own approaches to delivering what they think is the right gravel bike for the market and the consumer they are going after with their new bikes. But what do you want to see more of or less of on gravel bikes? Let me know by dropping a comment down below. But that's all today, quick news roundup. And if you haven't seen my video on the MV Mog behind me yet, definitely a contender for best gravel bike available right now, in my humble opinion, then watch the video right here. And of course, don't forget to subscribe by hitting that button right there. But that is all today. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.